Welcome to the first session of Hashicorp Vault. Today we'll be going over comparing authentication methods in Hashicorp Vault, and we'll also go over installing Vault and then just seeing the general look and feel of the UI as well. So let's get started. So all of the documentation is here in the Sydney Hashicorp user group meetup. And the tutorials here are also listed. So if you can't see this page, then you can go over to the Prerequisite mentoring repo, and all of the Vault study guides, etc., and references can be found there. So come over to Programs Vault, and then you'll see the schedule as well. So this also shows you how to. I have a sandbox account, vault.prerequisite.io. So feel free to use that. And if you want to authenticate against it, you can do this, which we'll show you soon. So yeah, this is the first one of the certification. So I'm going to do my certification as well. So I haven't got it yet, but after doing the 10-week course, I'll do it straight after. So next week will be create Vault policies. Then we'll go through assess Vault tokens and then go into more of the UI CLI. And all of your session information will be found here as well. Okay, so let's get started. So today I'm always using a Mac. If you use a Windows or Linux like other folks, you can just come here and it will give you all the information that you need to install the CLI. It's pretty simple. So brew tap Hashicorp. For those that don't have Brew, you can install Homebrew just by Googling it. Okay, now I have that. Then let's install it. Okay, so that installed all good. Looks like we're using version 1.10. Which I'll just check the Helm chart to see. Version 0.18, I'll just check if there's a new version. We might just get that first, since it's the first time we're using it. $19. Okay, let's upgrade it. So this Helm chart will provision a dev instance of Hashicorp Vault. As we do this course, it'll come into more of a prod one. But at the moment, this is just for installing the dev instance. I'm just going to do a hard delete and reinstall it. So you can see here that it's just insecure. It's hard-coded a password in here, which is obviously not best practice for production, but you can see that, okay. And then where all the Helm charts that I get is from Artifact Hub, and that references the official Hashicorp Helm charts. And then you can see here the default values as well. So as we go, we'll start using injectors and some pretty cool stuff in there. So let's start installing it while we talk about it. This repo, by the way, is on Prerequisite Argo demo. So I'll just update the latest changes if folks want to install it into their cluster as well. Okay, and that generally will take so that's all running already. The Ingress should be working, so we can confirm as well by going to vault.prerequisite.io, and that will be using the latest version. And then you can see here the root token. So the token should work, and I think that's just Prerequisite. And then that will sign you in, so if anyone wants to play around with it, feel free to. And then you say that just by executing that one command, I now have a Hashicorp Vault running in Kubernetes as well, which is pretty cool. So at the moment, we just got a div configuration and just using a Nginx ingress, which is pretty standard. And then as we get into the course and do more prod, we can start having more replicas and more instances of Vault as well. So we'll go over that another day. This is more Kubernetes over Vault. All right, so let's get back to the installing Vault, and then we'll upgrade it, but that should already be the latest, so I don't think we need to. It's just for people that need to upgrade it. Yeah, perfect. And then you can verify the installation by going Vault. Yep, so that will tell you all the things that you can do. Now let's authenticate. Probably should tell you how to do it on this one. Okay, so that's dev mode. You can follow this as well if you don't want to put it on Kubernetes. I find everything easier on Kubernetes, but this will start up a dev server. Okay, so here you can see if you export your address. So in the repository here, I did those notes last time, so you can copy that. Again, insecure with my token there, but this is just a dev instance that we don't care about. Okay, so that's exported, and now let's see how to. We should get someone to update this with some more commands as well. Okay. And then let's go Vault status. Okay, all good. Version 1.9, you can see that that was the one that I just updated. Okay, so the scope of this one is more authentication methods, but we can probably just go real easy and start from the tutorial as well and just do it together. So let's just go over a little bit about this, but we probably won't cover it the whole time. There's also the concept of sealed and unsealed. So with a div, it with the div it already becomes unsealed, but unsealed and sealed essentially means that it's like a bank vault where you need 2 keys to open it. So unsealed just means that if you have the key that you can open it, whereas when it's sealed you can have, like, for example, 6 keys and you need at least 3 of them to unseal it, which is quite cool. So as we get better, we'll go more into that as well. So these are really cool tutorials as well. Now that you have your dev instance here, feel free to use it and follow all those tutorials as well. You don't need to worry about putting it on your computer, and you can make your own, do whatever you want. And then obviously the help is always good for anything. So Vault KV help. Yeah, and you can see that that'll give you all your commands as well. Delete, destroy. Okay. So Vault authentication is automatically enabled. So when we're setting the environment variables that we just did as well with the token and the URL, the CLI will already, automatically pick that up. So we don't need to do anything more inside the CLI. And then let's try create a new token. So Vault create token. And you can see here that there's the token there. So the token created and output describes a token of a table of keys and values. The created token is displayed here as that one there. So the token is a child of the root token. So remember, the root token we had was provided by the one that we specified in the chart, and then it will inherit the policies of that token. So the token is the core authentication method. You can use the generated token to log in with Vault. So in summary, the token that we just made, we can use that instead of using the one with my name on it as well up there. We could put that token there and that would work as well. And then you can revoke it as well. So if someone or something leaves, then you can just say revoke that token, then that will be revoked. This one's quite cool as well. So GitHub Authentication. This is something that I'd probably like to put into our one as well. So Vault supports authentication methods for human operators. GitHub Authentication enables a user to authenticate with Vault by providing their GitHub credentials, and then they receive a Vault token. So this authentication method, as described in the exercises, requires you to have a GitHub profile, belong to a team in the GitHub organization, and have generated a GitHub access token with the read org scope. So I remember that there was one back when I used to look at this, there was something that I didn't like about it, but let's just have a look. It might have changed by now. Let's try the GitHub one. We'll leave that token there. So enabled GitHub auth method. So Vault auth enable GitHub. Let's just look at the UI and see if anything changed, because this is where you can start to see your changes also. Yeah, and you can see here that when I put Vault auth enable GitHub, that actually enable the authentication method here as well. So you can always use the UI as well, but it's good to use both, I guess, the CLI and that. So let's view the configuration. So that's in the path GitHub. And it's pretty standard. All right. So the auth method is enabled and available at the path, auth GitHub. This auth method requires that you set a GitHub organization and the configuration. A GitHub organization maintains a list of users. Okay, so let's do it. If anyone wants to join the stream as well, just write a message on the chat and I can add you in if you have any questions, or feel free to ask questions as well. Okay. Organization. Is that equals? Yeah. Okay, so then it looks like I've just updated the config. So I don't think it will show it, but let's just have a look. Yeah, it's more of a key pair. Okay. Now all the users of that organization that I just did are able to authenticate, which is quite cool. So okay, so I see why now. So the reason I didn't really like it or was impressed by it because now you just have to generate a GitHub auth token and then you just put it there. So for me, it's no real difference. I mean, if you could just click the UI and it would, I think we can set that up too though. So we'll look into that also. That might have to do with okay. So yeah, if anyone in that organization now has a personal GitHub token, then they can just add that and authenticate with Vault as well. So, yeah, that's what it was. JWT, Okta, Alda, username. Okay, so there are a lot of authentication methods that you can use. We can look at setting up a few more as well. So this will all be in the exam as well, all these authentications. So it's not the most funnest one, but it's still good to learn. Okay, so now they're configuring the engineering team. So so you're writing the auth engineering. Okay. And then auth list, that's the same as what we just did in the UI. We looked at it. Okay, and then you can unset the Vault token. Vault login method, GitLab. Okay, so if I wanted to make a GitHub personal access token, which I have, and then instead of logging in through the token, I can then log in through Vault login dash method equals GitHub, and then it will ask me for my GitHub access token, and then I'm logged in. So that's actually quite cool. And then that means I don't have to keep generating tokens for anyone or sharing my root token with people. So that's a cool way of dynamically adding people onto the Hashicorp Vault. And then you can log back in with the root token. Okay. So that's probably the easy one. So you can enable user path. So let's do that and see what that's about. And then we'll see as well, like you could still do auth list, or we can just come in here and have a look as well. And then you have user pass here as well. So there's no users, you can create a user as well. So if I want to just do my GitHub name, just the same name per employee, and then some more advanced settings. And then now I have user pass as well. So you can see how easy it is to add all of the auth methods. So it's actually pretty cool and super easy to use. So now let's just log out and see if I can log in with that user. Boom. Okay, so see I'm not authorized, so because I haven't given myself scope to do that, so just log back in as admin. And then you can start adding that user with permissions as well. So when enabled, auth methods are similar to secrets engines. They are mounted with the Vault table, can be accessed and figured through the read-write API. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before, the external. So when using an external auth method, Vault will call the external service at the time of authentication, and for a subsequent token renewal, this means that issued tokens are valid for entire generation. So this is what I was talking about. It doesn't look like they have. Oh yeah, they have Kubernetes as well. Let's have a look. So that's calling the API. So quite a few AWS, Azure. See what the Azure one says. It must need a, oh yeah, enterprise app. So you can probably see in the test as well, they'll probably ask you a few okay, so if we look at the scope of this, getting start authentication, so they'll ask you different auth methods and things like that. So you don't really need to know too much, just pretty much what we're doing right today. It's good as well, like if you're more comfortable with one of these, I'll probably start with username and password like I did today. Use GitHub. You can use Kubernetes as well if you really want to. And then just choose one of the clouds maybe to play around with, and that should probably be good enough. Give it some role. Okay. All right. So do we have any questions so far? Pretty straightforward, this one actually. Let's see what the Vault agent with Kubernetes is. And then app role with Terraform. This would be cool for the people that have done the Terraform course as well. And the app role. This will be a good one to look at here. We can do that in another session if anyone wants to. It'll probably take quite a while, so it'll be really good to start integrating with Terraform as well to go off the last training. Okay, so maybe now let's just go over the UI as well. So authentication methods. Pretty much everything's in like a path or a folder. So you can see here that by default there's secret, but you can make your own. I guess if you want to call them, probably not the best way, but folder. And then you can either do it in the CLI or do it here as well. So let's start using the CLI to make some secrets as well. And then more advanced, we'll start getting into policies as well. And then there's some pretty cool tools also. So you can, like wrap data. So that will give you, that pretty much encrypts that JSON payload that I just did. And then I can unwrap it as well. So I could send it to someone on this call now and no one would be able to see what I put in that payload. And then I'll just unwrap it here. And then you can just do it once as well. And then you can do random hashes. So there's some quite cool tools there. This is what I talked about, sealed and unsealed. So I could seal it as well. So no one will be able to get into it. This is the really cool thing, which has a Vault browser CLI as well. So I don't even need to use my command line that I'm using. So let's just try use it from here now, I guess. So we'll create a secret. Yep, so let's write a secret. So already we had that secret there, so this one's going to write a secret called foo with the value of world, and the path will be secret hello. And there's your key value pair as well. So you can see that kv put secret is my path, which is my, if you look at here, secret. So let's chuck one in there now. You can just create it as well if you want, but let's see if this works. Doesn't like it. Let's try it over here. Okay, so that's gonna give me back saying, oh, I'll get back to you on why that UI CLI didn't work as well. I'm not sure why. So yeah, you can see here that that's version, so you can do versions as well, and some metadata around the secret. And then if we go into our secret path, we can see that if we refresh it, hopefully it doesn't ask my token again. Yep. And then this is the hello one that we just made with the CLI, but on the tutorial as well. So then, yeah, you can have more values as well. And that just copies it. So that's pretty high level how you create a secret, which is cool. And then, yeah, this is what I was talking about with adding another value. So key pair value. So we're going to add excited equals yes. And then that should come up with version 2. So yeah, you can see version 1, version 1 up here, version 2. And then you'll be able to, when you do the get, you can get different versions of the secret as well. If you're on different versions and you need to update secrets for whatever reason. I have to refresh it. It's got to be easier than that. And then you can see that in the secret hello, you have 2 keys. The first one was excited, and then the first one that we added was foo, that had world, and then the second one was excited equals yes. And then you can see here that there's different versions as well. So the first version didn't have the double key values, and then this one did. So it's good to use the UI and the CLI at the same time as well, just to see what's going on and what you can do, even though it's obvious, but it's good to see it working. Yeah, this is just giving a bit of a warning about setting it in the CLI. Gives you a history unencrypted, so just be careful with that. And then let's see here if we get it, see what happens. So you can see here that that's getting the latest version, which is 1, and then, no, sorry, 2, and then that's giving me the 2 key values. Let's try and get version 1 now. Let's see how to do that. Yeah, versions. Okay, so that's, here you can do like JQ if you want to get, JQ is something that's in JSON path is probably something really good to learn. There's a really good course on Code Cloud that I recommend. So if we go Code JSON path, you'll need it for when you do like Kubernetes certifications and things as well. So I highly recommend to do this course. It takes around half an hour, I think. Yeah, 40, okay, maybe a few hours, but it will teach you everything you need to know. If this statement here doesn't make sense to you, that jqr.data.excited, then I would recommend to do that course because it will come up with in other certs as well. And Munchap on Invest is a really, really good instructor, so he can explain things really well. So definitely recommend doing that, and it will make your life easier and faster when you do solve these issues in the CLI. This goes through deleting a secret that we don't really care about at the moment. It's pretty obvious that you can go through all this as well. The main point of these talks is to just go through them together and see if anyone has any questions, and then we can sort of learn at the same pace. So deleting the secret, and then this will go next as well. So quite comprehensive diagrams, probably a little bit too much in this one. So secret engine, so that was the secret path that we had, the secret, and that identity validation and policy. So we'll go over those more, particularly more the policies in the next one. So this is just saying, yeah, today we did GitHub token, user pass. I'll probably try another one and then do a lab on it in GitHub. Maybe will be easier and pass it around. And then here also you can see the secret engines as well. So the key value stores, you can also use cloud providers, console, Nomad, certificates. Certificates is one that I'd like to do for Kubernetes Insert Manager as well, which is a bit more advanced, but it'll be cool to learn. So yeah, just for the rest of the week, go through, just install the CLI, you're always welcome to use this instance here, vault.realm.io, you can use the password Brad McCoy, and then just go through, try and create some secrets yourself, try and maybe use your GitHub name or something like that, and just have a play around, and then we can go from there. So just go over the CLI quick start, understand, the key is that you just understand what it does. You don't really need to go too much into it, but just understand the different authentication methods. And then, yeah, we can go into the next one next week as well. So if anyone has any questions, just reach out. And yeah, thanks for coming, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. See you, everybody.